I can't believe I have to say this. The Panthers should not bench Bryce Young. Now, I'll admit there's something weird going on. I'll admit there's there's enough dots to connect that says somebody somewhere in that facility might not be confident in Bryce Young, but I can't emphasize this enough. If anyone asks you, and you are in that building, hey, should we consider benching Bryce? Send that person home and ask them to get a temperature check. You might be feeling a little woozy. Lightheaded? Get some water. Sit down. Chris Canty, host of the morning show that you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan, unsportsmanlike, explained why he could see Bryce Young being benched.
I think the most important thing is you have to put him in position where you can protect him, right? That's the obvious. You don't want the career to get knocked out of him before it even gets started, a la David Carr, what happened to him when the Texans were an expansion franchise. He got sacked 76 times, and he was never a guy that lived up to the promise of being a number one overall pick. That's what you have to guard against if you're the Carolina Panthers. Now, it ain't for a lack of trying in terms of them putting the pieces in place. They drafted Ike Ekwonu with a top 10 pick a few years ago. They got Taylor Mouton. They've tried to address the offensive line. It just hasn't worked out with some of those moves, and as a result, you have a porous front that's responsible for creating a pocket for Bryce Young. And you're talking about him being the smallest starting quarterback in the NFL. I just don't know how it works out unless you upgrade at the offensive line position. That's hard to do in season. So I do think there's a world that we can live in where you consider benching Bryce Young, but it's not really necessarily benching him for poor performance. It's more sitting him down so you don't get him hurt.
All right. I disagree. Let me ask you first. Let's go back to the premise of it. David Carr is the patron saint. He is the most used example for what happens if you don't protect a quarterback early in their career. Are we 100% certain that David Carr would have been a franchise quarterback if he had a better offensive line early on?
No.
We're not. It could have been they just made the wrong choice. It could have been that. That one example doesn't mean, hey, every quarterback that, sometimes good quarterbacks get put in bad situations, they still become good quarterbacks. Sometimes bad quarterbacks get put in bad situations, they still become bad quarterbacks. Sometimes it's just what the quarterback is at the beginning. But I will admit there's something striking up about the confidence in Bryce Young. Here's Adam Schefter on the Panthers' confidence in the young man. We're going to take a second, and then we're going to get to Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL insider, on the Panthers' confidence or lack thereof, and or the different varying levels of confidence in Bryce Young. Here it is.
They have not won a game. He's last in the league in QBR. And so when that happens, there can't be a lot of confidence right now. And as Frank Reich mentioned, in recent weeks, they have scaled back the playbook to make it more simple so that Bryce Young and the rest of the offense would be more comfortable. It hasn't worked so far. This is a team that struggled for whatever reason in the second half of games. They've fallen off during that time. And so when you don't win and you've got the low QBR, all those questions are going to come. Did they pick the right quarterback?
Benching Bryce Young would be a cop-out by the coaches. It would be an insult to Bryce Young. It would be more than he's not playing well right now. It would be, I don't have confidence in me. If I'm the coach and I bench the quarterback, I don't have confidence in me to figure it out. It would be, I don't have confidence in him to overcome adversity. It's the coaches saying we can't find a way to make it work when the coach's job is to find a way to make it work. The Panthers, ready for a stat? I come with stats occasionally. This one is very, very easy to comprehend. The Panthers are the most penalized team in the NFL this year. Number one, most penalties called on the Panthers than any other team in the NFL. There's like 5 teams in the NFL whose fans think there is a conspiracy and the refs are out to get them. And the Panthers have more penalties called against them than all of those teams. How about you fix that and then see how well your quarterback is doing? How about you fix that before you bench the quarterback or lose confidence in the quarterback? I actually think, as far as people losing confidence in someone, it's probably more concerning if Bryce Young is losing confidence in the coaching staff than if the coaching staff is losing confidence in Bryce Young. Because at least he would have some reasons for it. If you bench Bryce Young, if you consider benching Bryce Young, it is an insult to Bryce Young. You are saying that whatever tough situation you have put him in, remember, this isn't like everyone else's job market. It's not like Bryce Young came out of college and got to weigh all of the offers he had and go pick whatever job he wanted to go to. He was forced to go to the Carolina Panthers. All right, the draft is really fun for fans, but for players, it's kind of like, your entire future is out of your control. He didn't choose to be there. You put him in a tough situation. And why? Because you thought he was tough enough to handle it. And if you turn around after 5 games, 4 with him as the starter, and say, he can't handle it, we can't protect him, you're saying he's not tough enough. That is, first of all, saying you did a bad job, right? That is you as a coach, you as a team saying we did a bad job. But more importantly, you're saying we've done such a bad job that he can't handle it. You play him and you deal with it. You play him and you do what you can to find success. But even above that, you play him and you do what you can to find improvement. You made your bed and now you lay in it. Sure, simplify the playbook. Here's Frank Reich on simplifying the play calling, which I guess they think is going to fix everything.
That's what we do as coaches. Not for the quarterback, for the whole team. We did it on offense, we did it on defense, we did it on special teams. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Do the basics. Let the players play fast. Sometimes it takes that to do it, and sometimes that was the answer, and that's why sometimes it just works out to get you back on track.
No. Simplifying. Think about this from a defensive coordinator's perspective. Trust me, they watched the offense you put on film for the first 5 games, and they're saying, now we get to stop a more simple version of it? Sign me up. You don't have the dudes to be simple.
By all accounts, from what we've seen, it's already simple.
Yeah, it's not like they're
doing anything super exotic.
It's how about instead of simplifying the offense, you make everyone on the offense understand the offense you want to run. Simple, you drafted Bryce Young because of his brain. I know you did, because there's no other reason to draft him. If you wanted the guy that makes all the throws, you would have drafted C.J. Stroud. If you wanted the guy with the full athletic package, you would have drafted Anthony Richardson. If you wanted the guy with the brains that everybody was excited about how well he comprehended things, you drafted Bryce Young. You drafted that guy for the mind, and now you're saying we have to simplify it for him a month and a half into the season. You figure it out, coaching staff, and you help him figure it out, coaching staff, and everybody, stop talking about benching him. Just keep it out of your vocabulary. I hope that message got across.